Hello, and welcome to Soda Review Channel, where today we will be reviewing Cherry Float Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Cherry Float Coke Zero. Now, this is a drink that is pulling in on the dirty soda trend. Dirty sodas, of course, are soda drinks with certain things added in. Fruit juices, cream, and potentially pieces of fruit. If you add any of those to a soda, it's considered a dirty soda. This was popularized in the modern day in approximately 2010 when the restaurant chain Swig opened in Utah. Now, this was created because in the predominant religion in the state of Utah, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, aka the Mormon Church, there is a prohibition on certain hot caffeinated drinks, such as coffee, as well as on alcoholic drinks. Now, dirty soda, that borrows from certain bar terminology and potentially some coffee shop terminology, wherein it's either some kind of drink with some alcohol mixed in or a tea drink or tea latte with a shot of espresso or some other amount of coffee mixed in. I'm not sure if that one's universal terminology, but I have seen it on certain menus. Now, of course, the idea of mixing things into soda isn't new. We saw that back as far back as the 1940s with soda jerks at soda fountains mixing fruit syrups and juices into drinks that the Coca-Cola company then used to make the original cherry Coke and vanilla Coke. But in the modern day, it was popularized with Swig and several other dirty soda fast food restaurants that came about, such as Sodalicious. Other brands are available. So, in the past couple of years, as the world has gotten far more interconnected and social media has taken off in certain ways, there have been trends of people discussing this on certain websites such as TikTok. And so there is now demand nationwide for this. The soda drive-thrus have, of course, expanded outwards from Utah, but also the big soda companies, primarily Coca-Cola and Pepsi, have been dipping their toes in this. And this is one of the biggest headlines of that. It is a cherry and cream flavored Coke Zero. It is meant to emulate a dirty soda with cherry syrup and cream. Unfortunately, you may not be able to see this, but it says in big bold letters, contains no dairy. But our ingredients include the sweeteners of Ace K, aspartame, and sucralose. Interesting. Hmm. I do wonder what they're using to make it taste creamy. Is that part of the natural flavors? Questions for later. But I think we can just get started on this. Let me open this up. Very strong smelling. Very strong smelling. That is a cacophony of scent. I will say, I do believe that the chain, Swig, does own the term dirty soda, though I believe that there was a legal disagreement between them and Sodalicious, wherein there was debate over the copyright. From what I could tell, that was not settled in a court of law. Um, but we'll put an annotation somewhere to confirm or decline on that. So you won't see it listed as dirty Coca-Cola, which, as I said earlier, would give you different thoughts, such as maybe a shot of alcohol instead of a shot of cream. So far as I know, one of the big reasons for this taking off outside of certain religious communities is Gen Z doesn't drink as much alcohol as, say, their parents. I can say that's not surprising to me. I am a member of Gen Z and I don't drink alcohol. It's just a personal choice. When I opened it, I got a lot of the vanilla scent because that's likely how they're making it seem creamy, is by adding some vanilla flavoring. But hmm, hmm. Now I only really smell the cherry flavoring. Yep, that just looks the same color as any other Coca-Cola, but hmm. Yeah, I mean, the color of a Coca-Cola is entirely synthetic. Not in that it's necessarily made with artificial dyes, but in that the Coca-Cola can be made perfectly clear. They add in the coloring at some point. And I really think with these, they should add just a tiny splash of red or maybe pink coloring to give it a little tinge. And maybe they have. I don't have another soda to compare it directly to. As for the sweetener, it's kind of interesting that it's Ace K aspartame sucralose. I'm just happy it's not stevia. What did they do to that? I definitely. It's like. I don't know how to describe it other than it tastes creamy. On that metric, I would have to say this is not a very good dirty soda, as it does not have the feeling of cream. It doesn't have the color of cream, but somehow it tastes like that has a splash of cream in it. That's fascinating. So it starts off with the taste of the adulterated Coke Zero, that being a very small hint of maybe something cherry or something off. Then for a moment, I get the cherry flavoring. Then I'm just hit with a wave of like. It tastes like very sweet milk. Milk! And then I swallow it and I get the cherry aftertaste. That's fascinating. If I were them, I would have made the pink at the top a little go a little further down, and maybe a little bit of white and pink instead of just the pink. I think this is a little bit lighter than the typical cherry flavoring coloration. I'm just thinking out loud on that, though. Hmm. Small tangent. Apparently, they're using 100% recycled bottles, except cap and label. Hmm. Certainly, I don't oppose that. Hmm. I do feel like there's probably somewhat better ways to use a recyclable bottle. Glass is very recyclable, as is aluminum. I don't know. I feel like they could do something with that. That is to say, I think they could probably do more to replace their plastic bottles with more recyclable materials. But yeah, again, just thinking out loud, got a little bit distracted there. This drink, though. I feel like a dirty soda has to be more of an experience than this. This is a very interesting bottled soda. Chemically, it's fascinating in how it tastes. From a food science perspective, I'm sure this is a deeply well made product in that it tastes like you put some milk and some cherry syrup in a Coke. I don't know. I feel like it would be cool if they could simulate the actual creaminess of a real dirty soda. Hmm. I suppose without dairy at all, that would be far more difficult. Hmm. That being said, at some point, we here at Soda Review Channel certainly do want to provide some entertainment in producing a dirty soda and trying it on video or potentially even on stream. And so, what I would like you to do is go down in the comments, tell us what fruit juices, what fruit syrups would you like to see us mix into a dirty soda? What soda combinations? And the sky's kind of the limit on it. And let us know if you would want to see us put some dairy in some of them. I'm deeply curious to hear your suggestions. Overall, while I don't think this will give you a dirty soda experience, I think that this was deeply interesting, and I cannot say that I disliked this. So I've got to give this one a good.